What is good with y'all, bro? My name is GlobalFigure, and today I have a different type of video today, and a type of video that I thought I would never make on this channel. But sometimes I gotta speak my mind too. I have things to say too. I see things, and sometimes I gotta speak my mind too. So I was scrolling on Twitter, and I was just looking, and I see a quote tweet saying, "Replies on this are frying me, man. I love getting the occasional reminder that the FGC is a bubble." And if you don't know what the FGC means, it means, the fighting game community. And it's another post posting about the Marvel Token Fighting Soul, which is the new, fighting game being produced by Arc System Works. If you don't know who Arc System Works is, they worked on games like Guilty Gear, Dragon Ball Fighters, more of the popular, games like that. And so it's this post, retweeting the trailer, or like tweeting out the trailer, right? And I liked it because, again, this trailer looks nice. I was thinking about doing a reaction video, but I'm not gonna do that. So many people already got that. And so, like I said, I was curious, and I clicked on the post, and I'm like, the replies. So I was curious, and I looked down at the replies, and after the first three, I'm like, oh, I see what is going on, bro. And so the general thing that I am looking at, and what I am thinking about, is like, okay, these people, let's say they don't really play fighting games like that, or they're not really too deep into fighting games. Like, maybe they'll dabble into it, so and so forth. And I'm like, okay, I guess. And again, if you don't really play fighting games like that, and let's say like I said, if you've dabbled into something similar of the genre, you're just gonna compare it to something in that same genre, right? But what I'm looking at in these replies are just not it, man. In fact, I'm gonna go through some of these. Nigga, that's Marvel versus Capcom. So Dragon Ball Z Sparkling Zero, but Marvel. After how fast Sparkling Zero collapsed, I wouldn't touch this genre anytime soon. Yeah, this looks nice, but I will not be buying it. Thanks, Marvel. Honestly, looks super mediocre. Is it me, or does it look like Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero? Why do they keep calling it sparkling? Everyone's calling it sparkling. Street Fighter X Marvel looks like a combination of, where is Dante? Street Fighter meets Tekken Tag mixed with MK. The trailer can't save this, straight to deals of the week ass game. Yeah, so after that, I can see what people mean now. Yeah, and after looking through all of that, and just thinking, and I was like just thinking, like, man, that's when the question popped up: will fighting games grow? Will more people from the outside in look at this and be like, maybe I will get into fighting games? And that's why the question again popped into my head. And some of these comments, like, it's like, I understand some of these comments. I understand honestly look super mediocre. Like, it's like, that's what you think. If it looks super mediocre to you, I get it. Like, this looks nice, but I will not be buying it. I get it. But like, some comments are just like, bro, Street Fighter X Marvel, what are we talking about? I mean, this person's probably not even like dissing it, but like, Sparking Zero, we're comparing it to Sparking Zero, y'all. Why are we comparing Marvel's Token Fighting Souls to Sparking Zero? Why? Because they're both fighting games? They're both in that genre? Bro, like, like, you can compare, like, comparing it to Sparking Zero, like, brother, Fighter Z is right there. Fighters is right there, bro. Fighters is right there. Sparking Zero? Are we serious? And then I just remember, like, fighting games, like, the genre is just such a niche genre. People think like, oh, you have to put so much time into this, you have to put so much time into that, and I promise you, you do not have to put that much time into like a lot of fighting games. I promise you that. Sure, like, if you want to beat like some really good players, or like beat some people who are really good at the game, yeah, you're gonna have to sacrifice those hours. You gotta sacrifice practicing for a lot of hours, labbing a lot of things, practicing your combos, all that, learning frame data, basically learning everything about fighting games. Sure, but if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. Until you reach a certain level, you don't really have to, bro. And I know this for a fact, because I used to be one of the people, like, what was that one meme? If a game doesn't have a gun or a ball or a sword, whatever, then the nigga is asleep. I had to look for a game, like, different genres to play, so like I can broaden my horizon, basically. So like, fighting games was one of the first, like, I had to take a step back, because really I used to only just play sports games. Just 2K, Madden, COD, basically. And so like, I got into fighting games. The first fighting game like I really played was Street Fighter 4. And, I liked it, and I didn't really get into fighting games. That game didn't really get me into fighting games, but it showed me like an entry path into what fighting games was. And really the game that really got me into fighting games was Dragon Ball Fighters. Like that was the first like main fighting game that really like I actually like practiced in and like lab stuff and like actually tried to get good at. And you know, again, that broadened my horizon. And to be honest, I'm glad I did. It's just broaden my horizon in just all different genres of gaming, because now I can look at this and actually have like an opinion on some things, like again, fighting games, shooting games, strategy games, racing games, you know, stuff in that nature. Like I'm glad like I can play those games, like, and if it's like good, I can be like, okay, it's good. If it's bad, okay, it's bad. What is bad about this? I'll say what's bad about it. I'll say what's good about it. Like I'm glad I can have that knowledge to be like, okay, I've played these type of games and I know what I am talking about, you know? Maybe or maybe not. But then, you know, some people will look at something like, you know, Marvel Token or just Tokan. That's how it's pronounced, Tokan. Marvel's Tokan, and they'll look at that and be like, oh, it's Sparking Zero. It looks like Sparking Zero. Oh, the animation could be better. And by the way, the animations for this game looks incredible. One thing I know this is like a ranting video, but one thing like ArcSys is good for, bro, is like just animations for like the games they make, bro. Like they're really good at that. But back to the point I was making is that, again, fighting games is a very niche. It's a very compact space. And if you're not really like know too much about it, or like you dabble into it sometimes, but not really, you know, and then it just comes across like, hey, like, what is this? Like, you look at a fighting game like this. That's why I'm saying, like, it comes back to me saying like fighting games is a very niche genre. It's a niche in a lot of ways, but some ways, like, again, it's a lot of reasons why. Let's say people don't like losing, and in a fighting game experience, you're usually just one-on-one with the person, one-on-one online. And you know, sometimes people don't like losing, but losing is how you learn. That losing is how you learn, bro. Like, again, you don't have to put so much time into a fighting game to be, let's say, good at it, bro. You don't have to put thousands of hours unless you're trying to be like, you know, up there. But like, again, it is not required. It is not required at all. I guarantee you put like at least, I don't know, sometimes like 30 minutes to an hour. If you can get like 30 minutes to an hour, you will and get the basics down, you will be decent enough to beat most people, bro. I say that you will be decent enough to beat most people. Again, it's different for everybody, but again, like I'm saying, like, again, take like some time, learn the mechanics, learn how things work. Like, again, you don't gotta be like, oh, I gotta learn this super long combo, or oh, there's too many mechanics, or this is too complicated, I gotta learn frame data. Like, no, you don't gotta learn all that to look at a fighting game and be like, man, I can't do it. Like, you don't need that. That is not a requirement. Basically, I'm saying, like, give fighting games a chance. Give fighting games a chance. And again, it will change you. It will change you. It will change how you look at things. It will change how you see like the fighting game genre, and that's what happened with me. But then, you know, sometimes I realize as I scroll through these again, I realize that there is a pattern with most of these, you know, replies. Like, you know, is there something that you see that I also see? Basically, just give fighting games a chance, man. Give fighting games a chance, bro. And don't compare it. Not every fighting game is the same, bro. Definitely not. Like Sparking Zero, that's the comparison you want to give? Like, bro. Oh yeah, and another point I want to make, people are saying like fighting games are really like dying down. Like, it's just really like Street Fighter and Tekken and, you know, Mortal Kombat. And again, when people hear those names, like, those are, when you think of fighting games, those are the first three names you're gonna think of: Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and you know, Tekken, if you don't really play fighting games like that. And I get it, those are the mainstays of fighting games. Those are what many consider the big three of fighting games. And I get it, but there are other fighting games out there. You know, there are other fighting games that could, again, I wouldn't think they would rival like those games, but they will come pretty close up there. How that will happen is if people give it a chance. If people just look at it and be like, okay, this doesn't look too bad, that it could possibly rival like those IPs, man. Like, it could. Again, at the end of the day, maybe these when I scroll through X now, I just think like, if people say things like this and, you know, they have like they have that check, I just think they're rage baiting. anytime like they say something like this, I just think they're rage baiting and I move on. Bro. That's literally how I go through it. If I say something and if I feel like it's gonna piss me off in some way, I see a little check, that blue check, and I'd be like, huh. You know, I'm not gonna be upset. I'm not gonna be upset because, you know, they ain't gonna rage bait me. You can keep your 5 cents, buddy, or your $5, or however much they make when people engage, bro. But yeah, that's basically it for this video. I just wanted to talk about my stance, or like how I feel about, you know, when people look at different games, different fighting games, just fighting games in general, how I feel about them. And how it helped me as a creator. Again, most of the games on my channel are fighting games. Again, I'm trying to branch out that, but most of the games on this channel are fighting games. Fighting games really, again, broaden my horizon. I hope it can do the same for a lot more people. I hope many more people can play just different fighting games, you know. Like, yeah, there is Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, but there are so many great fighting games out there. And I just want people to give it a chance. That's really it. But yeah, this is the end of this video. If you did like this video, make sure to give it that thumbs up, subscribe if you are new, and share this with literally anybody. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.